Yo, welcome to 49ers Coast to Coast. I'm West Coast Grant. That's East Coast Jason, where he just went to the barbershop, got lined up, put on a crisp Yankee hat anyway, with a super duper fly Nike jacket. I'm over here looking bummy. I haven't been to the barber in a minute. Jason, I appreciate you for setting the bar high. You know what I'm saying? Having a standard and living it up to it. It's great.
Hey man, the only thing that means is that I have time to do things like that. As quality control and everything else that you have got going on, man, I would implore you to focus on the things that are important, not barbershops, not getting any jackets, anything like that. You just focus on what you're focused on, Grant. We appreciate you.
Actually, I got myself a nice little jacket this weekend in San Francisco, and I'm gonna wear it next week. It's nice. I don't know why I'm not wearing it.
Big drip.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a free agency episode. We're just gonna go player by player and talk about this, the relative merits and pros and cons of signing each one. But first, also, there's going to be a debate. We don't really do debates on this show, like definitely not the ESPN style yell at each other debate, but we have a discussion we want to have, and I think we pretty much feel 100% opposite on it. So I respect Jason. I'm dying to hear what he's saying, and we're gonna have a real discussion, which is what I think people like about this show. It's actual real discussions. But first, we got to talk about the news. Allen Robinson just signed with the Rams. He's a good player. The Rams are a good team. They just won the Super Bowl. What does this mean for the 49ers?
This personally hurts me the most because I am one of the biggest Allen Robinson fans. And a lot of the criticism that he has around his career has to do with his own doing. You chose the Bears. Obviously, you didn't choose the Jaguars. You had a chance. You had a chance to play with Aaron Rodgers, which would have accentuated what people believe about him. There's still a crowd that just says, "Hey, production matters," and he hasn't done anything. I still think the world of Allen Robinson.
Right, if he were on the Packers, he'd be Devontae Adams.
Or imagine trying to cover Devontae Adams and Allen Robinson.
Exactly.
Or it's beats the hell out of Alan Lazard and MVS and the guys that they ran out there before. So that was on the table. That was something that was like that. So Allen Robinson, I feel like, is one of the most underappreciated receivers. He did have a down year last season because he didn't seem to make it work with Justin Fields. Also, I do have to throw this at him. When you watched him play, lethargic comes to mind, but it felt more like checked out. He was definitely done with the Bears, right? He had been there with Matt Nagy the entire time. Him and Fields were not connecting. It seems like Fields and Mooney, who are working out together, were the ones who had the rapport. But it felt like Allen Robinson definitely checked out. Wasn't running routes as hard as he normally does. Wasn't blocking with the same vigor. I guess knowing his time was up over there. The Rams getting him is like probably worst case scenario. And here's the thing. Adam Schefter alludes to in the tweet that they still have money left over for Odell Beckham, who would make a later year return because of his ACL tear, right? But then, did you forget Bobby Trees, Robert Woods? So now, here's what you're probably starting.
I did forget. As a matter of fact, yes. Yeah, Robert Woods. Good point.
Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson. What this means to me and what it should mean to the 49ers is coverage, because you couldn't cover these guys in the NFC Championship game with Ambry Thomas and Emmanuel Mosley, which I don't really throw it at Emmanuel Mosley as more as I do. That was Thomas playing way soft, and they were just throwing the ball right under him. Coverage. Now you're talking about adding one of the best. Matthew Stafford and Allen Robinson now. Allen Robinson's going to play with the best quarterback he's ever had in his life, and he's put up some pretty gaudy stats with Blake Bortles and Mitchell Trubisky when Mitch was not as highly regarded as all of a sudden he is right now that everybody loves him. This is not good. Coverage. So good step with Charvarius Ward, but
you're not done.
And you're not done. And the thing is this, you weren't going to get this done, I think, regardless with just Ambry Thomas and Emmanuel Mosley. Like, you weren't. Like, look, Ambry Thomas made strides, and I think all of us can agree with that. But that NFC Championship game, he was getting worked a lot. And that was with, Odell and just Kupp. Now you're talking about adding those three. It's just there's more concerns that I have. Can he get better? Fine. But the 49ers told you basically what they think about Ambry Thomas by signing Charvarius Ward. The two starters will be Charvarius Ward and Emmanuel Mosley. Yes. Now, if you prioritize
this is about 3 to 5 games a year, which I guess is where Ambry Thomas comes in. But still, you don't have a nickel back right now.
It's a good problem to have that, right? So now here, all right. So now there are cornerbacks that are out there right now for you to go get. Yes, we are. And there's a few of them. But you signing another premier outside cornerback isn't the worst thing in the world, even though, you know why? those two guys start, Ward and whoever that is, let's just say
Yes.
Gilmore, let's just say AJ Boye or something like that, and Emmanuel Mosley becomes your slot now, and that seems to be better. And why wouldn't that be it? So there's the whole debate about pass rush and coverage. When you look at what the Rams are, right? Yes. And when you look and the thing is when you look at what the Rams are doing, they're putting pressure on you to cover them. And another year of Stafford in this offense and everything as well, the 49ers have to prioritize coverage right now at this point. So that's what it means for the 49ers more than anything.
The Niners are so all in on pass rush when, to me, the answer is both. And like, you have a great pass rush. You have Chris Kasarik, who can take, non-assets and turn them into impact players. Go get some coverage. Like, it's the last thing you got to do when you're already like on the path. You just got Charvarius Ward, good player. All right. That Niner guy says Baker has more interest from teams than Jimmy ever had. And it's been 20 minutes. We're so screwed. He is coming back.
All right. To be fair, I'm going to tell everybody to chill out on the Jimmy thing. Think about Baker Mayfield and where Jimmy Garoppolo is. One, Jimmy Garoppolo, if you're trading for him, you have to pay him off the bat. With Baker, at least you still have the cachet of a number one pick. I can fix him. He's 25, 26, something like that, right? Like, he's not super old. And then you have to figure
pick, and he's had
yeah. And then you have to figure out what you're going to do with him down the line. With Jimmy Garoppolo's the ceiling is here. Like, me trying to walk on a plane, like it's there. Like, you're at it, right? There's still an argument to be made that Baker still hasn't reached whatever ceiling people think he has. So front offices and regimes are going to put everything that they have into that idea. So that's why I don't think this is an apples to apples comparison with Baker and Jimmy. With Jimmy, you know what you're getting. You're getting good locker room guy, good leadership qualities, things like that. You can win games. He's solid for you. But with Baker, there's still this at least narrative or somewhat thought across the league in certain circles that he hasn't reached everything and I can get more out of him. And he still has something. And he was injured last year as well, too. But yeah.
Your New York accent makes me smile. My dad's from Brooklyn, and he has a strong New York accent, too. And the way I've always talked with my dad privately is once he starts getting into his accent, I do it, too. And so whenever you say, narrative, or I'm like, oh, I want to say it. I want to do it. But I'm not going to do it because I'm not from the East Coast, and I'm not making fun.
No, you're good.
I talk with a fake New York accent when I go to New York and when I hang out with my dad all the time. Just saying.
Well, here's the thing, Grant. I can never notice the accent until I talk with you Cali people. That's it. Like, if I'm speaking to one of my friends around here or whatever, I never notice it and I can't tell. Right. But like when I speak to people from Cali, when I went to Alabama, in Indiana, I'm like, oh wow, I completely hear the difference. Like it's
I love it. I grew up on it. It's reminds me of my child. I love it. Anyway, let's move. Okay, so what I want to do is we've talked about the Rams move. The Niners have made one big move, Charvarius Ward. That's it. I think a lot of people would like them to do a little bit more a la 1994 when they made their last big push and won their last Super Bowl. So let's talk about the big names who are still out there and assume that the Niners might have a couple moves left in them, starting with who you mentioned, Stefan Gilmore. So the Rams just upped the ante. The Niners have a nice cornerback. What about Stefan Gilmore? He's still out there. They were interested in him. What do you think?
I put a lot of stock into what Richard Sherman said. Richard Sherman is not going to say something like that about whether he would just go to the Seahawks or the 49ers without having some sort of correlation with that. Like, I really do trust him in that manner. So I'm sure that he's somebody that they've spoken to, and he's still out there as well, too. The issue becomes, and I think a lot of 49er fans' hesitance is, what would be the length of the contract? Would it be 3 years? He's 32. What you guys have to understand is, for everybody who was shocked yesterday about Von Miller signing a 6-year deal at the age of 33, is that those years are all voidable at a certain point. And especially the 49ers are kings of giving you a 3-4 year deal. And then after you get all your money in the first year, it's year to year. And you're not on the hook for anything, right? Did it with Quan Alexander, did it with Jerick McKinnon, did it with a bunch of other players, right? So that's their MO. So if you're hung up on the years, I wouldn't be so hung up on it, is that the 49ers know that they can give up front. The problem is right now, and this is the issue that most 49er fans have, if not all of them, the elephant in the room, the handsome elephant in the room. You have to get that money off the books right now at this point, somehow, right? Like because Stephon Gilmore is not going to sit around and hope you get a trade going, right? Like somebody's going to come ask and tell.
And there's only so many more players you can restructure to create space. Like the easiest way is just to trade the handsome elephant in the room. I like calling him that. I'm not saying his name the rest of the thing until the handsome trade him $25 million. Boom, easy. Now you can 3-4 moves.
Right. And look, there may come a point. I don't believe this to be true. There may come a point where the 49ers have to push come to shove, cut Jimmy Garoppolo so they do other things and fill this roster out, because you can't just fill it out in the draft, right? But I don't think they will. I'm going to tell you, 49er fans, I really think they're going to get a trade done. I just don't know when. I think the Deshaun Watson domino has to fall, because that's going to put people in positions where they need to move. So let's lay out a scenario real quick in that way. Deshaun Watson chooses the New Orleans Saints, which all indications are kind of pointing that way. That's not insider information. That's just reading the reports that everybody's putting out there, right? And the Falcons, I don't understand why the Falcons, other than he used to be from Atlanta, he's from Atlanta, would be a destination. They don't have weapons. They're not a team that's on the rise, and they still have to find a way to move Matt Ryan. So let's just say the Saints move, okay? So he moves to the Saints. Now, what happens with Baker? Because it doesn't seem like Baker's coming back. From all indications now is that Baker's on the move now. Whether he wants to or not, or what's going to happen, it seems like this is going to be a stare-off between the two of them. The Baker Mayfield would have interest with Indianapolis, putting him there. Now the Browns, what do? You come calling for Jimmy Garoppolo because he can operate your offense in a similar fashion. You want to run the ball a ton, and you want to just throw it here and there, and you want to play defense. That's exactly what Cleveland did with Baker. So all of those things, I understand everybody just saying, like, get rid of the guy, but there's still a way where they can move Jimmy Garoppolo in these next few days, because apparently a Deshaun Watson decision is coming today. They can move Jimmy Garoppolo today, tomorrow, and still hope that those guys are out there and still be able to make moves for them. But yeah, Stefan Gilmore is somebody that, I get it. You don't want to pay for the older guy. That's what people thought about Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman took an incentive-laden deal. He fit in perfectly. That's exactly what you want. But I don't think Stefan Gilmore is going to come in for an incentive-laden deal. So you got to make sure that you have the money to take care of all that. But having Gilmore on this team, starting Gilmore and Ward on two sides, and then having Emmanuel Mosley be your slot corner, that is a formidable corp right there that can cover anybody, I think.
You know what the Niners could do, and it'd be hard. It's not in their nature with salary cap, but it's what they did in '94. Just give them a one-year deal. Be like, Stefan, we're going to win a Super Bowl. We need you. Here's a one-year deal. Come be our Deion Sanders like Deion was in '94, and then go to the Dallas or wherever you want to go after that. It would be so cool if the Niners did something like that. Now, I don't know if maybe they could do like a 2-year deal to make it more financially flexible, but I would love it if they got Stefan Gilmore. If Charvarius Ward was their number 2 corner and they could bring Gilmore in and he could play in the slot and you could have Mosley. I mean, are you kidding? Now you're talking about a team that really should be the best team in the NFC. I like that. I think he's worth the investment. I do.
Yeah. So and you know, again, the 49ers have a way of, it's weird. In 1 year, they'll pay Jerick McKinnon before anything, or they'll pay Quan Alexander before anything. But most of the time, the 49ers usually swing on those middle tier guys, right? And that's, Gilmore's not that. Gilmore's at the top of that list, right? So it starts to make me wonder, what do the 49ers do? Do they bank on Jason Verrett coming back, paying him nothing, and then just seeing what happens with that? Look, I know.
No, I'm not saying, I'm just saying that's my reaction. I had a visceral reaction. I don't even root for this team. Yes.
So yeah, Jason Verrett. Are they going to wait on something like that? There's AJ Boye that's out there who didn't play too badly over there in Carolina. Again, pass rush will help. Again, there's moves to be made. So now we're really going to find out what the 49ers really believe, because paying Charvarius Ward was a good step in changing the narrative that they don't pay money to cornerbacks, right? That's a very good step, even though that's not official yet. Wonder why. Anyway, but they introduced their special teamer today, which was, big move, guys. So, you guys need to like pop the champagne on that one.
Yeah, that was a laugher. All right.
Yeah. But here's the thing is now you are looking at a place right now where you can have Gilmore, right? He's top end. And now you're really telling your fan base that you've changed your philosophy when it comes to the cornerbacks. And now you've invested, as opposed to not, waiting in the draft or something like that. Because, Emmanuel Mosley's found money. He was an undrafted free agent. Same thing with Charvarius Ward, who was an undrafted free agent over there in Kansas City too, which is something that's really impressive for him. He got, the deal's not official, but, we all indications of that. So the 49ers are kind of going out of their way to show you, hey, we're changing. Look, we're going with the times. We need coverage. And I think a lot of that has to do with what happened in the NFC title game. I mean, unfortunately, I don't want to like be overreactionary to one game, but if you have wide receivers that are really good, like the Rams do, it's tough to cover.
Absolutely. Isaiah Gill says Trey Area. He just wanted to put that out there. Yeah. Sir Molly Mall says Jared Cook for downfield and Cordell Patterson. Yeah, we're going to talk about some of those guys, but first, the 49ers reportedly are interested in signing Jarvis Landry, according to CBS. And Landry today was working out with Deebo Samuel. What do you think? I mean, it seems like I'm buying it. Do you think this will happen? Do you think it should happen?
I don't think it will, and I don't think it should.
Okay.
And here's why. Jarvis Landry is a very, very solid receiver in this league. And I get it, guys. I know exactly what you're thinking in your head. So let me play mind reader real quick. Debo, Ayuk, Landry in the slot, right? Sounds good. Sounds amazing, right? He's going to want money.
I'm thinking is Debo at running back, Ayuk and Jarvis at wide receiver.
Okay.
Like, man, how many targets are you? I mean, you don't even throw the ball that much. Now you got 4 guys. You got to split targets up. Yeah, Debo's a running back. Sorry.
Okay. I don't want to do that, though, with Debo. I'm trying to keep him away from taking those hits. But, all right, so here's the thing. Is it seems like he's a good fit for Kyle Shanahan, right? Like you would think, short area guy.
Pierre Garçon type.
I don't think he is, though. I don't think he is, and I'll tell you why. Everybody that Kyle Shanahan covets at wide receiver is yards after the catch. Right now, Jarvis isn't that. He's not explosive with the ball in his hands. He's more of a possession guy. So, like, if you need 8 and you need him to come across the middle and come down and catch the pass and just get down and make sure he's got strong hands, Jarvis can do that.
If you want to spend a lot of money to upgrade Juwan Jennings, then fine.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Is that really important right now? You have
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
This would be a mistake.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid it's going to happen because he's hanging out with Debo. Like, what?
Nah, I think that they're just hanging out. I mean, I wouldn't read too much into that. And this is why, all right, now I'm going to really get, I'm really going to get people riled up. I want Julio Jones instead. If you're going to upgrade Juwan Jennings, and Julio Jones has made more money as a wide receiver than anybody right now at this point. Yeah. He just got cut by the Titans. Who knows how long he can play still, right? And it's just going to be something that maybe is an incentive deal, right? And somebody who can play 45% of the snaps. The 49ers don't run a bunch of 3 wide receiver sets, anything like that. The 49ers have 3 realistic options at wide receiver under contract. That's another thing that you guys don't understand also. Like, either you're going to address that in the draft or you have to address it in free agency. Now, whether that's lower end.
How many wide receivers are you going to draft? 3?
Exactly. So
you got to sign a wide receiver. Yeah.
So look, no disrespect to Juwan Jennings, who actually performed very well last year, and he carved out a role in this team. He ain't like Julio, and if Julio wants to come here for nothing, then I'm sorry, Juwan Jennings, you got to kind of just eat bench. And Julio can do more in that third down role than he can. He can run better routes. He's a better red zone threat. He's everything is better.
You think Julio be cheaper than Jarvis?
Yes. Yes. I think so. I think Julio's down for a 1-year deal right now. He wants to win a ring. I think that's what he thought he was doing. Like when he got traded to Tennessee. Now he gets to choose Kyle Shanahan, same offense.
I like him in. I think the allure with Jarvis is that if you're going to transition to a quarterback like Trey Lance, Jarvis has some serious hands. Really, and Debo doesn't. So I'm just saying, like, Julio might want someone. He's got like some Anquan Bolden hands. At least that's the impression I had of Jarvis. I haven't watched him in a while.
Julio can run those still. And if you want to start throwing, if you want to start throwing the ball down the field with Trey, come on, man. Here's the world that I want to live in. This is the world that I want to live in.
8-yard routes. Yeah, I don't think they should sign Jarvis Landry. We agree on this.
No.
Eric says Fletcher Cox was just cut too expensive, probably. What do you think? Should the 49ers sign Fletcher Cox?
He's going to be too expensive. I mean, unless if the 49ers had that cap space right now, we knew exactly what was going on, because right now I'm just speculating that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to go. I mean, it seems like that's what's going to happen, but stranger things have happened, and this is the 49ers. So they'll do whatever the hell they want whenever they want. Doesn't really matter what we think. So I just think he's going to be too expensive. He's a great player, absolute great player. He would absolutely fortify this defensive line, but yeah, it's too much.
It would be an all-in move. I mean, imagine a defensive line with Bosa, Cox, Armstead, and whoever. It doesn't matter. Ebukam. I mean, wow, that's
Ford.
Or yeah, yeah, right. That to me is an all-in type of move. But how much do you think he's going to get? 15, 16, something like that?
Probably. I mean, and even at his age, if it's a 1 or 2 year deal, I mean, think about it. Caleus Campbell's 37 and people are still knocking on his door, man. He's just been productive. And Fletcher Cox has just been one of the most productive guys on that Eagles line.
He probably costs what Stefan Gilmore would cost, if not more. So it's like, who would you rather have, another interior defensive lineman or another coverage guy? On this team, I would take Gilmore. If you had to choose between Gilmore and Cox.
Correct. I would too. Yeah. And the 49ers are telling you their confidence in Javon Kinlaw bouncing back, because he's come back. He's got the surgery done. He came back and he slimmed up. And they're telling you, right? DJ Jones is too far out of our price point. Yeah. Guess what? We can slide in Javon Kinlaw right here, and we think we can do the same.
Well, I hope Javon Kinlaw proves them right. It's not really up to Javon. I mean, he's doing the best he can. Let's see if the Niners are living in reality here or just being optimistic. We'll see. Alejandro says Zadarius Smith remains a free agent. Sign him. Yeah, that was interesting. He got signed for a second by the Ravens, and then it fell through. So, Jason, should the 49ers sign Zadarius Smith? That's an all-in move.
They won't. And I don't think they should. You know what I think Zadarius Smith saw? Von Miller got what? This guy got what? I just signed for what before them? Oh, no, that was a handshake deal. We got to get out of this. And I got to – he's smelling the bag somewhere else, man. He just is
think so?
At this point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think he looked around. He saw what those other edge rushers got. And he's like, hey, man, me too at this point. Everybody values edge rusher. So, yeah, he saw what the Bills just ponied up for Von. And he was like, hey, man, I'm going to go get my bag too. So, if that is the case and what I'm speculating, then that puts him out of the 49ers range right away off the bat just because of money. And the worst part is there's so many names here, and you're going to name them. And we're going to go through them with like, should they? They won't. Like, that's the worst part about it. I think more than anything is just they're not going to.
And to me, it's the difference between, I mean, obviously there's a salary cap, but like, I feel like a lot of teams are kind of showing the salary cap is a little fake. Like, ask the Rams, the Bucs, there's ways to maneuver this.
Hold on.
You know what I mean?
I was told that the New Orleans Saints wouldn't be able to open up a Mercedes-Benz Superdome because they cleared $80 million in two hours, and then now they're $28 million over the cap because they're about to get Deshaun Watson. Please do not tell me about the cap. I don't want to hear it, man. I'm tired of it.
That's what I'm saying. And so the Niners are run by Parag, who's a cap expert, and Jed, who was like a financial advisor before he came to the 49ers. So they're all about bang for your buck, bang for your buck, bang for your buck. Eddie wasn't about that. Eddie was not about that. Eddie was abundanza, whatever it freaking takes. And I feel like the Niners are at a crossroads right here. You're so close. You're right there.
Grant, let me give you a quick
signs of Darius Smith.
Let me get into a live look of what it was like when Carlton Davis came in and talked with the 49ers, right? Carlton Davis said, I want this amount of money. Parag said,
no, we'll do this.
Put it in the computer. He looked.
Yeah.
And it popped up with an N and an O. And he was like, sorry, can't help you, Carlton. You know,
I have a problem with that. Like, what are you more committed to? Making financially sound decisions or winning a Super Bowl? Win the Super Bowl. Eddie didn't win the Super Bowl by getting the third tier cornerback in 1994. He got freaking Dion. He's like, all right, here we go. Super Bowl, let's do it. Dion and Ken Norton and Ricky. Hold on. Ricky Jackson and Richard Dent. Sorry, it was a little long time ago. But dude went all in like with a bunch of moves. I know Zadarius Smith is so not something the 49ers would do. And Chandler Jones either, but like it's something Eddie would do. And I know that, okay, there's a salary cap now. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Everyone, and the salary cap's going up. Right. And what did the Bills just do? They just gave an absurd amount of money to Von Miller. Who cares? They might win the Super Bowl next year. If they win the Super Bowl, everyone will be good with that. So I say sign Zadarius Smith. Make it work. Find a way. Jed, you have $4 billion. Make it work. Your problem.
The computer says no.
It's true. All right, moving on. This is someone who would be really cheap. Cordell Patterson, he's a running back in his 30s. He's had like 300 career carries. He is he's one of the best returners I've ever freaking seen. And he doesn't get hurt. He's durable. I love Cordell Patterson. I say sign him, of course, at the right price. What do you think?
No. They're not going to. They're not going to. Just prepare yourself for a name like Justin Jackson from LA. He has the Anthony Lynn connection. Who knows? It's what they do. And you know what? Justin Jackson's going to be fine over here. I think he's going to play very well, and I think 49er fans will like him. But this is too flashy of a name. Cordell's about to get paid. I mean, his football story is one of the oddest, right? Like 8-year breakout. I never heard of in year 8.
He was playing the wrong position for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they figured out he was 30.
Yeah.
I love this guy. To me, you wouldn't have to run Debo as much. He can do what Debo does on offense, especially at running back. It would take a lot of the burden off of Debo, and it gives you one of the best returners in the game. And I think the Niners could use a weapon at returner. They haven't had one in a long time. You don't need it. Couldn't hurt. I love Cordell Patterson, and he'd be cheap. Hell, you would think he'd be expensive?
No. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be cheap. I wouldn't say that. Okay. But I think that And you know what's funny is everybody always says, well, Shanahan grabs, running backs off the scrap heap, and that's not true. That's not true though, but that's not all the way true. You pay Jerick McKinnon a bunch of monies to not play at all. You signed Tevin Coleman off the rip. You traded up for Joe Williams. You invest in running back. You just don't give out the big deal. So I mean, I don't know what to make of it because Patterson
made Kyle Juszczyk the highest paid fullback ever. Yep.
That's a running back, right? So like everybody's just like, oh, he just can pick up any undrafted free agent. Yeah, he can, but that's not what they do. Like that's not something that they always do. Like Matt Breida and all these other guys, yeah, you can make a case for those things, but they still paid for certain guys just because they didn't work out. So when they identify a guy and they like it, they'll go for it. But I just have a feeling that they are going to say, hey, remember Trey Sermon? We got him, man. He's pretty good, right? Like he should be all right. Like they're just they'll probably bring in somebody who's a solid guy, right? Like the Wayne Gallman move last year that I thought that they were going to keep Wayne Gallman and they didn't. Something like that. And it won't be anything really
a tier below, a tier 3. Okay. Buddy Boy 88 says Niners need to upgrade O-line and free agency. JC Treader, Will Hernandez, Nate Herbig, terrible track record developing their own. I agree with that.
I like the Will Hernandez one.
He has hella short arms, but I haven't really watched him. And I just remember him when he was coming out of UTEP. Who was it?
Will Hernandez's numbers last year compared to Lincoln Tomlinson are strikingly similar.
Oh,
I mean, he might have only given up 1 or 2 more hits, something like that, but he was much maligned when he came in the league. Trust me, the Giants fans did not like him at all. But this year, he actually played a lot better. So Will Hernandez is an intriguing one. I like that call, actually.
Gizmo Maltese says, don't you think we need a solid backup quarterback? What if Trey goes down? We don't really know how durable he is. He got injured after this game.
Hold on. Solid backup? Studfeld.
Stud.
What are we talking about, bro? Like, yo, it's locked in. You see that money they gave Sudfeld? That's your backup.
I don't like
that.
They're
not doing nothing.
I don't like that at all because I think everyone says backup quarterback doesn't matter. Well, the Niners wouldn't have made the playoffs this year if it wasn't for their backup quarterback winning a big game in freaking December.
And almost knocking off the undefeated Cardinals, but nobody ever wants to talk about that.
Trey plays a physical style of football. He might miss a couple games. That game he misses might be critical. All you need is someone who could win with a good team. And it's like, you don't really want to have anyone with a career win under their belt on your team. No one. You just Sudfeld will do it. You don't know that. You've never seen him win a game or start a game. So it seems like they could have got someone like Colt McCoy, someone real cheap with a little bit of success. And they're like, nah, we like Sudfeld. He's good in the meeting room. Like, all right, okay. Good luck.
Sudfeld, baby.
I know Tyrod's a little too expensive, right? But there was
Tyrod got paid.
Tyrod got paid. Good for Tyrod. Niners playing Moneyball, it feels like. Well, that's
always
what and Jed do. They are financial analysts. It's what they do. Sorry.
Always.
It's not Eddie's team anymore.
And that's not an opinion either.
You'd love to get Eddie on this show and get what do you think of what your nephew's really doing? What do you think, Eddie?
He'd be like, bro, he's like, they don't even allow me in the crib anymore because I'm out here trying to whip everybody ass. Yeah.
We get rid of key players and haven't signed anybody. Whew. Well, they signed one corner.
Man? Special teams ace, bro. They haven't signed him yet. That's not done. The one that's done, they had an introduction today for Burks, the special teamer, man. You really got to put those guys in front of the camera, man. Go for it.
What about when Michael Duran says Caleus Campbell or Akeem Hicks for a vet min?
I'd love Caleus Campbell or Akeem Hicks. Those are if again, so many players you were just allowed just on a vet min, but you got to hope that that's what they are about, man. But I would love both of those guys. I don't care about Caleus Campbell's age. He was still dominant last year with the Ravens, man. And we spoke to DaCosta at the Combine. He could not stop talking about Caleus Campbell when we had a chance to talk with him.
Don't sign Zadarius Smith. He's another D Ford case. Dallas, well, he did miss most of last season, so I don't really know what's up with that. Dallas just released their starting right tackle. Oh, did they? Should we talk about that? Let's freaking talk about it. Should the 49ers sign Lyle Collins?
This one's yes. Look, I'm going to take the tinfoil hat. I'm going to put it on. Boom. All right. What's going on with Mike McGlinchey for real? Seriously.
Yeah.
Because no one asks and no one tells.
Yeah.
No one is saying anything about, all right, the severity of the injury we heard was it's 50-50 that he'll ever be able to play football again. Forget effectively. That's scary. Wow. He tore his muscle off of the bone, a significant injury. And the 49ers are telling you, yeah, it's good.
Hard. He's working hard.
He's attacking it. Yeah. He's attacking it. Your fallback plan just signed with the Denver Broncos, bro. Kyle Shanahan just got Tom Compton a job.
That's right.
Tom Compton has a job now on a team that has
Is
playoff
going
aspirations.
somewhere.
Yes, the AFC West.
Yeah.
So if Mike McGlinchey can't go, what? And if he can't go, it doesn't mean that it means potentially.
Cole McKinnon's, bro.
But it means potentially that he can never go again, play again, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing with Lyle Collins. Sure, older. Sure, you think that he's going to be expensive. Here's the thing. You've already picked up Mike's 5. It's already there. But what if he can't play? So Lyle Collins gives you a year where whatever happens with Mike McGlinchey, maybe somebody wants to trade for that and think that he's going to be fine, something like that. I have no idea what you do with McGlinchey at that point. But Collins starts, and then you can recoup in the draft and figure out your right tackle move from there, man. Right tackles are not like him.
If you got Lyle Collins, you wouldn't need Mike McGlinchey. He's better than Mike McGlinchey. Thanks, Mike.
Right tackles like this are not just sitting out on the open market easily, often, right? The Cowboys have made a move based on time that he's been there, and they're not prepared to pay him, whatever it is. But you've got to find a way to clear some money so you can get this guy in here. If you get Lyle Collins in here, then Mike McGlinchey becomes a luxury. Let's say Mike McGlinchey comes back. This is the most popular thing in your comment section right now, probably, right? Here's what you do. You sign Lyle Collins for a year. You draft somebody in the draft. And if Mike McGlinchey's 100% healthy, what do you do with Mike McGlinchey? Trade him.
Because everyone wants him. Yeah. That's right.
Trade him. If he's healthy and he's good and he's 100%, trade him.
There you go. Yeah.
Trade him.
You have options. And I like this because I don't see what the Niners' plan is at right tackle, and that's a very important position, and that could ruin the whole season. I mean, to me, the big reason why the 2014 Niners didn't make the playoffs is because their right tackle was Jonathan Martin. What are you going to do? They went from Anthony Davis to Jonathan Martin. They couldn't run to the right. They were not that had a big impact. It's a very important position. And Tom Compton saved the season to an extent by not being trash.
He did.
We expected him to be trash.
He did.
Actually, he did a great Mike McGlinchey impression.
Yeah, he did. He did. And here's the thing. I'm not reading the comments. They're off. I never look at them because they're too distracting because it'd be so popping in there. Like those guys are like popping off. But before you guys bring up Jalen Moore, just notice this in Pee Wee football, and you can't flip a guy from left to right tackle and just say, "Oh, he's just he'll be fine." Now, I understand you want him to work because he was a draft pick, but he's not right now a viable option for week 1 unless we get to camp and he starts to make some vast improvements or he's doing certain things. For a team that has win now aspirations, you can't afford the bumps and bruises at right tackle. The 49ers largely lost the NFC Championship because of offensive line. Shout out to Tom Compton. He did all he could all year, but he got worked the last 2 weeks. Green Bay and the Rams, they worked his ass.
Yeah. And
Trent Williams was unfortunately injured in that game. He was fighting for his life. He was getting beat. So the right tackle position, for everybody that wants to point out, well, Compton made McGlinchey look like the same guy. Yeah, but he's also still Tom Compton. So you need to show that up.
Let me say something. If they don't sign Lyle Collins or someone who could start maybe the whole season if necessary, they're going to have to spend their second-round pick on an offensive tackle. Yeah. Have to. And that sucks to be in a position where you have to spend a pick on what if offensive tackle isn't close to being BPA at 61? What do? Reach? Trade down? Because everyone knows you need that. Like, that's a terrible position to be. They got to sign an offensive tackle. Why not the best one available? Because you're trying to win the Super Bowl. You're not trying to, save the Yorks a buck here. You guys are this freaking close. Get Lyle Collins, man. Chalk it up to, taking a big hack at it like the Rams would. Look what the Rams just did today.
And look, it goes back to the same thing that we've been talking about. Certain teams have different ways and different philosophies, and there are different ways to cook a soup, skin a cat, whatever it is that you want to say, right? As long as it ends in a Super Bowl. One.
For Parag. What the Niners do under Parag is they have a very strict – it's like going to the supermarket with a list and not deviating from it. I have $100 and these things, and I'm going to be very diligent, and I'm not going to – it's like, dude, react to the moment. If you see something great, go for it. And the Niners kind of need to react to the moment. Like, wow, we're right on the freaking cusp. What do we need to do? Oh, Stefan Gilmore's just chilling. He still hasn't been signed? Really? Oh, well, let's do that. We didn't expect it. He's not on our list. We don't have the budget for it. But you know what? We want to win a Super Bowl. That's what you got to do. That's what Eddie would do. So I know Charvarius Ward was on your shopping list. I know Oren. Give me something that was not planned for, that you took advantage of in the moment. Do that.
I'm just laughing because
the Rams just freaking did. What am I missing?
I'm just laughing because you said that Oren Burks is on the list, and it's like when when I envision a list of free agents, if I saw his name on there, I promise you, man, and I promise it, like I try to be as well versed as I can in football, and I watch so many teams, and I try as hard as I can to know everybody. I literally had no idea who that guy was, none. And the same thing with the other guy, who's the defensive lineman.
Hassan Ridgeway.
Yeah, Ridgeway.
These are we know because I did a lot of draft prep 4 or 5 years ago. I'm like, oh yeah, Texas, oh yeah, Vanderbilt, but I don't know. No,
I knew Arden Key.
Yeah.
I knew Arden Key. That was somebody who was highly regarded, but it's just I just love thinking of this list. And it's like Charvarius Ward, Carlton Davis, and then on this list is Oren Burks, and he's under must sign. Sign him. Get him in here. Right now, big circle. Ridgeway.
Yes.
Big circle.
During the legal tampering period, they were like, have you called Oren Burks? We got to win this.
I feel like in that room, the negotiating room, they're just high-fiving each other great job, guys. Way to go. We finally did it. The missing piece.
2.0, baby.
Missing piece, baby.
Neil says Trey over Brady next season. Okay, call him a shot.
It's not going to happen now. I think Brady came back because he asked the 49ers, and the Niners were like, no, again.
Ernesto says, I saw an article from new SI writer Daniel Kelly. He is extremely low on Lance. Does his evaluation of Lance concern you? No. I have my own evaluation of Lance. But I respect anyone's opinion, and he is going to be writing for me. He's been a scout in the league, so theoretically he should know more. But no, I've seen a lot of Lance with my own eyes. I trust what I've seen.
You're being diplomatic. That's cool.
What?
You're being diplomatic. That's your guy. Cool. You know what I'm saying? I ain't rocking with that evaluation at all, man. At all.
Me neither. I just saw it.
Yeah.
Me neither. So sorry, dude. Daniel, don't agree with it. The coach says sign Lyle Collins yesterday. Mike is an uphill battle. Lyle is going to cost us a year in place and reboot in the draft. Right tackle is not an easy spot to fill. I'm with it, man.
Coach knows.
Very important spot.
Coach knows.
Coach knows. Coach been knowing. Willie says, should they sign Collins? Yes. Are they? Ask Aponte. He knows the answer.
No.
I'm trying to put pressure on Jed York because Jed York responds to pressure. Eddie would know. But Jed, you got to yell in his face, fly a banner around his house. You really got to get his attention. Parag doing more harm than good at this point. He's good at what he does, but the Niners are just in a different spot right now. The last 20 years, he's really helped them make money and stay, compliant with the rules. But now the salary cap is exploding. It's way easier to stay under the cap, and you got to win a Super Bowl. And he hasn't shown that he can do that. He might be good at their money. He might get the startup to the IPO phase, but once it's time to finally go public, maybe you need someone else. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I
was gonna say, is that how it works?
Dustin the Gale says most unlikely scenario, but it would be lit. We acquired Deshaun Watson to keep Trey, and then trade Deshaun Watson right away to the Bucs for Tom Brady. I know it's impossible, but it would be so lit.
Dustin,
you
lit.
How lit are you right now?
How lit are you right now?
No, I like that. Trade Watson right away to the Bucs for Tom Brady. Why would you do that? Wouldn't you want why? He's 20 years younger than Tom Brady.
Dustin, you lit right now, and it's 1:45 in Cali.
Yeah, I respect it though.
Hell
Gabriel says, "What is the market for Key right now? Is he coming back? Probably not. I would think he's going to get the Kerry Hyder treatment.
We'll see. I think that a lot of things have to play out, and we'll see how his market develops. And you know what? Maybe he enjoyed his time here so much. They fixed him a little bit. They know he's going to be used, and they'll have to pay him a little bit more. But I'm not ready to write Key off right now.
Okay, last hypothetical free agent. Should the 49ers sign Tehran Matthew? Before you say no, because I can feel it. Let me just make a case for Tehran Matthew. I know he's not what he was 3 years ago. He's definitely lost a step. I'm not really interested in bringing him in here for coverage. At this point, I'll take Jimmy Ward in coverage. I kind of want to move Jimmy Ward to strong safety at this point. I'd like a free safety who has, ball skills, instincts, whatever, a knack at intercepting passes. I think it's something that could put this team over the top. It's something that it lacks. It's one of the few things that this team lacks. It has everything except a playmaker in the secondary. And I was always really hard on Richard Sherman, but in retrospect, even a washed old Richard Sherman, that playmaking ability clearly had a positive impact on the defense when he wasn't injured. Okay, that's my pitch. What do you think? No.
So I'm gonna say no and no. Like, no, they shouldn't sign him, and no, they won't.
I don't think they will either. They're not even linked to him. Chicago's linked to him. No, no. But
so one of the guys that I really like, but I think that he's going to be out of their range. But, if the 49ers are able to trade and make a move for that 40-something pick with a certain team, then it will put them in his range. I think the 49ers should just draft Jalen Petrie and allow him to play strong safety. And when you talk about how this scheme is with Ward and Tart, and I think most of the safeties, it's pretty interchangeable. Like, I know you said you want to see like Ward as strong safety. I don't really think that there's really designation. Those guys flip. Right, they just flip spots. Yeah, they flip spots. They have the same sort of responsibility. They say they just know their job. So I don't really, I wouldn't be worried about that at all. But I think that if you can have a cost control of Jalen Petrie for 4 years, that's a really great thing. And I think that there's no slight at Tyrann Mathieu in any way. It's just I really enjoyed what I like with Jalen Petrie. Plays close to the line, had about 18 tackles for loss last season, made plays on the ball, had interceptions, sacks, fumble recoveries. That's the sort of thing the 49er fans want right there. So he's great up close to the line while in coverage, which is my biggest gripe with Hufanga and why I think the 49ers need to address his position, because they can't go into the season starting Hufanga as strong safety. They cannot.
But the only way they can draft a DB such as Petrie in round 2 is if they sign a right tackle such as Lyle Collins in free agency. Otherwise, we agree they're going to draft an offensive tackle at 61, which is too bad.
They may, but there's one guy, Matt Walesko from North Dakota. I think they can have him a little bit later. Kind of looks like McGlinchey, right? Like, he's really tall. He kind of was getting beat a little bit in pass protection early but he played better at Senior Bowl. So, I mean, there's options. Again, we have no idea how this is all going to shake out in the draft and what their thoughts are. So, I mean, if they have to reach at 61, I'd be upset, because I feel like you got to do BPA there and just see what you can do later on and see if you can come up with a guy that you really enjoy, or you found like a diamond in the rough, or your guy Jalen Moore's ready to step up. You're ready to roll with McKivitz, one of those things. So who knows what they're actually thinking. And we the 49ers tend to overvalue their guys a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. All right. So no Tyrann Mathieu, although I still think
Sorry.
He would be yeah, I mean, if not him, someone else that's a playmaker. And I like that you suggested someone in the draft. That's cool. The only question is, you think he'll be there at 61?
I don't think so. That's why they'd have to trade Jimmy Garoppolo to get to 42 now. Like, if you can get to 42 and you can get that from the Colts, then you can take Jalen Petrie at 42, man. It all comes back to that. It all comes back to that.
If they get 42 for Jimmy Garoppolo, I will give John Lynch a standing ovation. Honestly, good luck. How does Jason feel about the Dodgers out-yanking the Yankees?
I'm tired of all my teams not spending money, man. I'm tired of it. God.
Are the Yankees trying a new thing in the 2020s? Like
what they're trying? So stop me if you understand this one, 49ers fans. The original owner, who's not there anymore, used to spend a bunch of money. And the kids took over, and they don't want to spend any money.
That is so funny, man. I root the same team.
I root for 2 teams that used to be good in the 90s and can't get it done now. I root for 2 teams that are my mom in the grocery store saying no to everything.
Dude, that's so funny. 2 teams that are kind of profiting big time off of the past. The one team that's the most stuck in the past I've ever seen that's still like literally stuck in the past is Dallas. I went to Dallas this year, and you walk through the Dallas airport, and you just
remember when we were good in the 90s.
All these pictures of like 25-year-old Emmitt Smith, like, whoa, guys. 30 years have passed. What are you doing?
So look, I had a Cowboys fan try to come at me on Twitter, and I'm like, let me just spit some facts to you. Jimmy Garoppolo playoff wins as a 49er, 4. Dallas Cowboys playoff wins since 1996, 4. What are we doing here?
Lauren says, didn't the team lock up McGlinchey's 5th-year option? Yes. Didn't I tell him not to? Yes. I think we're stuck with Mike. Kyle seems too stubborn to admit that Mike lacks the talent that got him picked at 11. 9. Yeah. Is it Kyle or is it John? John seems to be the one who can't admit a loss. I mean, look at the Jimmy Garoppolo thing. John is very competitive. Like, he was a player. He doesn't like to lose. Doesn't like to admit he was wrong. I don't know. Is it Kyle or John? My question.
We already talked about this. Whenever it's bad things, it's John. When it's good things, it's Kyle.
That's how it works. Isaac says get Ward back on the channel. I intend to.
Yes,
I know
please.
He said he'd like to. I will.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Dude, he was the best. I intend to. I'll reach out to his agent soon. It's just let's let free agency die down, because at any given moment, I have to talk about how the Niners signed some third string right tackle
at any given moment, you find out the 49ers have spent the bag on Johnny Hecker. And if you want to make a move at punter, if you want to make a move on punter, you cut Mitch and you go sign Johnny Hecker right now. That's the missing piece. Right now.
That Niner guy says Matthew plays more at the line of scrimmage than the deep 30. Plays very similar to Jimmy Ward, just more big plays. Okay.
I just think Jimmy's better in coverage.
Yeah, I do too. Sibilla, Eve, or Oprah, who's winning in wrestling? Eve.
Wow. Yeah, hell yeah. Ooh. Nobody's taking her down.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Eve's got a whole aura. She's like, it's tough. Niners wouldn't act in free agency even if Jimmy was gone.
That's a good point.
True. Thank you, Ethan.
That's a good point.
Ethan's been a Niner fan for a while. Leon O'Neal, TAMU, or Brian Cook, Cincy in the second round?
I like Leon O'Neal too, man. He boosted his stock at the combine. Every interview that he gave to any of us and spoke with any of us, like, man, he's just full of energy. Looks like that guy has that confidence around him. I love it.
D Flow says Niners' next big trade will happen before 4 p.m.
4 p.m. What, your time?
Yeah, he only donated $2, so I don't know how confident he is about $1.99. I appreciate it. Allen Robinson went to the Rams. No doubt. Oh, snap. Hey, well, thank you. All right, it's time for us to have our discussion. And I'm going to let Jason go first, unless he'd like me to go first. The question is Jimmy Garoppolo holding the 49ers back in free agency? And what I mean by that is that's $25 million in cap space the Niners could create at any time. When they've needed cap space, they've been able to do it. And they clearly have as much cap space as they feel they need. Some people think they should be going all in like it's 1994. I'm asking you, is Jimmy Garoppolo holding the Niners back in free agency?
No. And here's why.
Okay.
Here's why.
Okay.
We talked a lot about philosophies, how this organization's run, and they're steadfast in that. I don't believe that if they had that $26 million available going into this, that they would even be it. It's not about what Jimmy Garoppolo's done or anything like that. They could have the money and still look at everybody and like Chandler Jones. Nah, that's too much money. DJ Jones, no, that's $12 million. No, thank you. Lincoln, no.
They would just gorge out on like tier 3 fullbacks and stuff. You're so right. Damn it. I thought I was going to win this argument. I was going to be really respectful and be like, Jason, you're a good friend of mine. I really admire what you're saying, but here's 10 reasons why you're wrong. But damn, you're so right. It's just how the Niners are. Like, you have a lifetime picture of Parag and Jed being like, yeah, Chandler Jones, freaking JC Jackson, sign him up. No, Eddie does that. Does that.
And here's the thing. They may have had a budget set across. Like, let's say they have the $25 million off there, right? And they got JC Jackson sitting right across from them. They're saying in their mind, we want to pay him 17. He says, I want 19. There's no meat in the middle. It's all right, get out. Get out. Like, that's it. We're not going to see you again. Like, we're not like the reason that Trent Williams is here. Remember this. The reason that Trent Williams is here is because Kyle got on the phone and called and said, if you don't bring Trent Williams back, I'm going to kill all of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what are we doing here? Absolutely. Like, Parag said no to Trent Williams. So that's how he
said no. He said no. You know what? We can't pay him, man. That's too much money. The computer said no.
Computer said no. And look, I get it. That's how the Niners do business. It's a pattern. It's worked for them in certain ways. But I don't know. It's like in the Godfather. Like, you need a wartime consigliere. Like, you need a different. Parag isn't right for this. When you're a great team that needs to be the best team, dude, just tell him to go run the soccer team that you own in England. Like, you could come back when times are tough, but right now we need to like actually make some irresponsible decisions with money so we can win a Super Bowl.
The philosophy has its merits and things that are good, but you need to blend that with aggressiveness and time and things of times are of the essence. You only have Trey Lance for 4 years on this rookie contract. And I know the cap's going to explode. I get all that. I get it.
But that just means that the going rate for quarterbacks will explode. I mean, like they're all getting 15% of the cap now anyway. So I mean, this guy's going to get $60-70 million.
Mitchell Trubisky just signed a 1-year, $9 million deal that could make him up to $17 million with incentives, and he's probably going to play over there. That's a 1-year bridge gap guy. That's that, right? Like even Jimmy Garoppolo right now is cheap.
Yeah,
Trey Lance isn't going to be cheap. He's not going to be cheap going down the line. So again,
if he's your guy,
right?
If everything works out, boom! Now you're spending $60 million a year. What Kyler wants, plus more.
I fully expect if the 49ers had that $26 million, that they would let guys walk because of a difference of $2 million, $1 million, another year, all of those things. And it has nothing to do with Jimmy Garoppolo, guys. I'm sorry. This is your organization, and I am just going by their movements. The only thing that this organization has done this offseason that's a little bit different is pay a cornerback and pay top dollar. And that's not even official yet.
And really, it's a 3-year deal with $26 million guaranteed. It's not a huge signing.
No, and I'm sure that when we dig into it, that's why when everybody's like, "Oh my God, this money does
$14 million a year." Probably
most of it's front loaded, and then everything becomes year after year, year to year. You could be cut year to year with minimal loss. That's the way they do things.
I bet his cap number is pretty low this year,
right?
And when it goes up, I bet you they can get rid of him. So how expensive is he?
That's one, the reason that the philosophy that this regime uses. And two, every single free agent that walks into the 49ers building knows that they're going to be offered some sort of low ball 1 year to year deal. And it's about whether you want to bet on yourself. So how many free agents are actually going to walk into your building knowing that you're going to negotiate in good faith?
Yeah, not the tier 1 guys. Like, there's no way that Jed York, Parag Marath ever would have landed Deion Sanders if Deion Sanders was 27 right now. It never would have happened. I just want to talk about this real quick. Like, this was when I was really young, but the Niners, they won the Super Bowl in 88, 89. Then from 90 to 93, they were on the cusp, but they couldn't get it done, right? They were good, but not as good as the freaking Cowboys. And so in 94, Eddie DeBartolo, competitive, obsessive, needs to win, wasn't content with saving some money and giving themselves another chance. He brought Deion Sanders, Ken Norton Jr., Ricky Jackson, Richard Dent, boom, Super Bowl. Like, when Jed was presented with a similar situation with Harbaugh, they were on the cusp for 3 years. What did he do? He tore it down. And now you're on the cusp again. What are you going to do, Jed? And he's just like, I don't know. We're telling you. We're telling you what to do.
It's funny because Chandler Jones came out and said, it's not about the money, it's about a place that'll maximize my skills, right? So that screams 49ers. But then here come the Las Vegas Raiders. Oh, you don't want money? $17 million a year. Oh, wait, it is about money. I actually really like that.
Hell yeah. I like that too. Vegas sounds like a hell of a fun place to live. You get all that money tax-free. I just spent my taxes. I just paid all my taxes this year. Disgusting. I'm disgusted. I want to take my entire operation to another state. Like, are you kidding me, California?
That sounds like rich people problems more than anything. I got a bunch of money back. I got a bunch of money back on my tax return because of my daughter. It was ridiculous.
I had to pay more. Okay, let's talk. Last thing. So to create the cap space that they've used to sign Charvarius, although that's not even freaking official yet, the Charvarius Ward thing.
It's not.
So to create this cap space, the Niners restructured George Kittle and Eric Armstead. I haven't seen what that looks like, but I assume it means essentially a bit of an extension, a little bit more job security which is great. It's just that I've been saying the Niners should trade George Kittle, so I guess I disagree. What do you think of these two moves?
The Armstead one doesn't bother me, just because he doesn't miss games.
He doesn't.
He doesn't miss games, and now if the defense is performing and he's inside, he's been playing well. The one that concerns me is Kittle, and I love George Kittle. I don't want to trade him, anything like that, but he does miss games. And the cap hit eventually down the line, because all you're doing when you restructure, for anybody who is unaware, is you're just kicking the can down the road. The money doesn't get it doesn't evaporate. You have to just
Word is bond.
Word is bond. Word is bond. Word is bond. But
I'm sorry.
So no, you're good. You're good. So with the Armstead thing, it doesn't really bother me too much because he was so productive this year. He plays all of his games, and he's going to be here because nobody's going to take that contract on, right? But Kittle, man, it's just I need you to play more games. And, who knows how that's going to look in a few years. I love George Kittle, the player. I would never think about trading him. I just want to make sure that, again, I say this on record for some reason, just because I'm on here with, it is you. It is. It's not. It's just him. It's just him.
Because I know sometimes if you just come on a show with me, people will be like, "Oh, you and Grant." It's like,
dude, I did one on my show, and the guy's like, you and Grant started the trade Kittle narrative. I was like, me? I was like, I've said some dumb shit all the time. I was like, I've never said trade Kittle, man. What the hell? Like,
that's the smartest thing I've ever said. But I'm just saying it happens a lot where like people get caught in the crossfire. Like I say something And my co-host, like, we're here having a discussion. The point is not to agree on everything.
And most of the time we disagree. That's why I'm just like, now tell me you've never watched this, but without telling me you watched it. Like you have literally no idea how this works. But with the Armstead thing, I like it. It's a little bit better. And I think that the 49ers were put in a position where they had to do that. And why did they have to do that? All comes back to Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. It's always him, right? It's always why the reason the 49ers had to make a move like that. It was not optimal. It's not what they wanted to do. Obviously, they probably thought that they would have already had something, but push came to shove, and you had to, by league rules, be under the cap at 4 o'clock, which is why Charvarius Ward has not officially been introduced. But you got a chance to look at your new special teams ace, man. Take a look at him. And did you guys know that he used to work out with George Kittle? That is a huge thing, man. You 49 fans need to be excited.
And like with the biggest Niners shills, I don't want to name them by name because I don't like giving publicity to other people. But what the biggest Niners shills will say is that they created the cap space they needed. They got the players they wanted.
It was a rule. It wasn't something that they were just like, hey, let's create cap space. You have to comply with the NFL. Yeah. You were like,
but it's you can't tell me that this team is actually all in to win the Super Bowl this year with $27 million tied up into Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, you can't tell me. Like, you are still in flux. As long as that dude and his contract is on your books, you're in flux.
And no pressure, guys. But if you don't do this fast enough, you won't be even after you clear the space off, unless you make a trade, which is completely out of your thing. I know Emmanuel Sanders,
and that's why I feel that Jimmy Garoppolo is holding the Niners back, even though the Niners wouldn't know what to do with cap space if they ever freaking had it. Like, the clock is ticking. If you do want to win the Super Bowl this year, and you're this close, you're like a few plays away, the time is now. Have the epiphany, make the move, do the right thing. Spike Lee would. Can you?
He definitely would.
He definitely would.
But what you're forgetting is D4's coming back. They're going to sign Jason Verrett again. All of these things are about to happen, and they're about to be locked right back in. Okay, guys? So, like, don't fear. Like, just trust the process.
And if you don't believe it, here's a spreadsheet proving it. All right. I couldn't help it. I love the spreadsheet, man. I never used a spreadsheet, but I was an English major. I'm going to get an A on this report.
For me, proficient in Excel was something I used to lie about on my resume, but I don't have to work anymore. So
nice. I bet it's going to come back. I bet it's going to be comeback toward 3.0.
Revenge toward 3.0. Accept it, man. The revenge of the avenging of the revenge.
You see that one dude who I'm not going to mention put out the run it back thing with the Jimmy Garoppolo picture on Twitter yesterday? That was comedy. So funny. There
is a subset of 49ers Twitter that wants to see that happen just to see people melt down. Just melt down. And then there's a subset of them that actually really believe that that's the move.
I rock with the first one. The second one is like, I can't. I want to troll you.
All right, look, Grant. Let's think big picture, right? Because you're a big picture idea guy, right?
I like that. Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo pulls up to training camp, and here we go again. And we don't know. And if Jimmy Garoppolo's there,
I'm rooting for this. You already know I want that, man. Another year of quarterback controversy. Really, it would be great. Once he gets traded, it's like a couple of days, and then it's over. I'm a little scared about that, actually. What do I do? How do you think Shanahan would use Cordell Patterson and Debo duo if signed? I think he could figure it. That would be so cool.
He would.
It would be so cool.
Triple reverse option.
You could go empty back. You would never know which guy's gonna get motion into the backfield. It'd be so cool. But the show's over, guys. You only get an hour of me and Jason.
Well, one more thing. Here's why you signed Jarvis Landry, backup quarterback too. Also, as well, that guy throws him. He throws him down the field.
Debo's the backup. He could be third string. Then Sudfeld comes in. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. I'll be back when you least expect it. See you.